Oh, big news. Paradox just announced a ton of stuff, and I'm excited to go over it with y'all. I literally slept through the announcement, but I'm here now, and that's the important thing. It includes expansions for CK3, EU4, Stellaris. Nothing for Hoi 4 yet, unfortunately, but there are also new games like Cities Skylines 2, an XCOM 1930 style strategy game, and a Sims clone. Well, not a clone, but just a Sims competitor, apparently made by someone who worked on Sims 2 and then left to work with Paradox. I will give credit to myself for manifesting that back in December when I talked about how Sims players need to play Paradox games. Not on the developers, that's on me. I'm kidding, obviously. We'll go through and talk about all of this in just a second. Also, shout out to Count Christo for saying, I know what Paradox will reveal on March 6th, and literally making it the worst clickbait I've ever seen. Oh my god. One of the things that I'm like the most excited about is the CK3 announcement for a new DLC. The actual trailer is more just like cinematic. It doesn't go into too many of the details, but we haven't heard anything about CK3 for a long time, unfortunately. I don't know if CK3 is just super hard to develop for, but coming sometime in late spring, I don't know, tours and tournaments. They also released a dev diary explaining what their vision is. And the important thing is that it includes a lot of role-playing elements, which is something that I always want more of in CK3. So your character actually moves around on the map, travel, and grand activities that you'll go to, even just like ruling your kingdom and not doing anything, which is perfect because when you're not at war, the game can be like so static sometimes. Like you'll get random events, but that's about it. So actually having your character move around and do interesting things on the map, beautiful, perfect. Tying them to the map, adding that level of realism, fingertip feel into the game, revamp feasts, hunts, pilgrimages, and then you'll also have grand activities like grand tours, grand weddings, grand tournaments. I think this is more in line with what Crusader Kings has always been going for. Not that like the flavor packs for Iberia and Norseland aren't cool. Like I love those too. Just having a more in-depth feel of like what your characters are going through day to day, just like existing in the world. I think it's like super important and something that the game's needed for a long time. The tournament UI looks kind of crazy. Like, is this even CK3? Like, apparently it is. I don't know. I'm sure there will be like things that you can click on this or something like that, but it's really cool to see. I mean, just even in Game of Thrones, like so many different things happen at jousts, right? So I would love to see something like that. You forget how weird medieval Europe was until you hear about a betting ritual. There's also a brand new regency system where we've made sure it's interesting to both have and be a region. I'm super excited to try it whenever it comes out. Okay, so the second thing I'm really excited about is the EU4 domination expansion for EU4. They've been like releasing dev diaries about it the whole time. The cinematic's cool. I know that they're revamping the Ottoman Empire, Japan, China, places like that. And it's coming really soon, and we know it's coming soon since they've been releasing dev diaries for like actually quite a bit. I know that there's like a Roman Empire, Ottoman path, and crazy things like that. If you like EU4 as much as I do, obviously, I'm really good at EU4. I post screenshots of EU4 on my Twitter all the time, and Laith yells at me every single time. Like, look at this. I was having a good game as Persia, Zoroastrian Persia, mind you. That's not easy. A bunch of troops everywhere snaking into Constantinople, and all Laith has to say is, Kara, why? So, shush, first of all, Laith, but also super excited to see all of the things that they're adding to EU4. The Ottoman Empire, China, Japan, Russia, Spain, France, Great Britain. I know that there's like a new focus for Great Britain that's like turned towards Europe instead of away from Europe, so you can make like the Angevin Empire and things like that, which is all super exciting. Did I just read something about Streltsy here? Good. The Streltsy. I love hearing about them. But anyways, the Stellaris expansion looks really cool too. I'm not like the biggest player of it or anything, but I've played it on video before. And one of the things that this is doing isn't letting you interact with pre-FTL civilizations more, like getting more events with them. There's more like storytelling, role-playing, stepping into the character of your civilization type stuff that they're talking about. Something to do with an awareness level. Bronze Age philosophers might comment the fact that the moon just blew up might not have been a natural occurrence. Character of your civilization type stuff. All of that's pretty cool. There's also cloaking, which is coming soon. I'm just excited for all of the more storytelling that they're adding to Stellaris, since I feel like that's something that I care about the most when I'm playing it. I do like role-playing games the most overall, which does lead me into Paradox's next announcement, which is their Sims clone, Life by You. I shouldn't call it a clone. It's a Sims competitor. It's developed by one of the people who made The Sims 2 happen at Maxis. They're promoting his name because because he's a big deal and he's been working on this game forever. It looks pretty good. I think The Sims, first of all, does deserve some real competition, and this like looks to be it. Also, I think it's cool to just like mesh the simming community and the Paradox community together even more. That's something I've always wanted to see happening, so it looks pretty good so far. I don't think there's all that much information about it yet, but they've been prepping for this for a long time. I don't know if it'll appeal to like most Paradox fans at the moment, but y'all are gonna get into life simming games. I'm sorry, it's happening. It's about time. Excuse me, I've been sick, but it's about time. Look at that, there's already Sims content creators like latching onto it. One of the other things I'm super excited about is Cities Skylines 2, which is super cool to see. Like the way that you play Cities Skylines right now is just to download a bunch of mods to change a bunch of things about the actual simulation side of the game and the building side of the game. Apparently someone, City Planner Plays, looked at this asset and noticed that the game could be running off of Unreal Engine 5. And then the fact that the vision of the game is just to make it a much more like dynamic, much more realistic simulation of what an actual city building experience looks like is sort of incredible. Like I haven't played Cities Skylines much on the channel. Well, never actually, but it is one of my favorite games legit. I do have like the most hours on it of any Paradox game, I believe, or close to it, probably besides for CK2. I love it. I love city builders. I love that they're making a new sequel to the best city builder game ever been released. I trust Colossal Order a lot. Like they're a very reliable game company too. That's good. I'm excited to see it. The other things that Paradox released that are kind of like overshadowed by the other things, Knights of Pen and Paper 3. Cool. I'm sure there's fans of that game, but I've never played it. Across the Obelisk, Surviving the Aftermath, Rebirth. Still feel kind of bad that I ranked their games so low in my Paradox games tier list. They're just not for me, but I'm sure people who like those games are super excited to see this too. Apparently the Surviving the Aftermath expansion includes terraforming for players to modify and revitalize the environment. So that's cool. There's also a game called the Lamplighters League, which it just looks like kind of a fun like arcadey sort of 1930s strategy game. I don't have much to say about it since I don't know much about how it'll work or anything like that. Cool to see. Glad that they're working on new things, trying to expand their catalog a bit more. Paradox Arc is working on a game called Mechabellum, which looks like a StarCraft competitor, which is kind of crazy in its own right. One of the first games I played when I started getting into computer games, because I'm a nerd, was StarCraft 2. So like I would honestly love to play this game. This should be integrated into Stellaris as a ground combat mini game. And just double checking, that's about it. But that was a lot of stuff. Like it's literally so feast or famine with Paradox. You'll hear nothing for months and then you'll get like a huge drop like this. Again, I'm super excited to see all of it. I'm excited that Paradox is still like making moves and doing good things. And I'm gonna leave it here. Thanks for watching, y'all. I love y'all. Thank you to the channel members too who support this channel every month. You're the best. I'm gonna leave it here. Thanks for watching, y'all. Bye. Mwah.